announce that all the customers are completed.
I now call the order of business of October 27, 2015. Mr. Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Nettapegian.
Present.
Kenneth Barron.
Here?
Thomas Berry.
Here.
Robert Constant.
Here.
Lisa Hicks Clayton.
Here.
Margaret Horvath.
Here.
Joseph Kosinski.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Before I ask for the Pledge of Allegiance, we just have two sad notes that our Council Secretary Denise Walker's mom passed away, and also Dan Brooks, our engineer from Wade and Trim's mother passed away. So Dan, condolences to you and your families too. And then at this time, I'd like to ask Pastor Paul Otts and Diane Ward to please stand up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Also, at this time, I'd like to have Pastor Ward and Diane and the mayor and Lisa Hicks Clayton please go up, and Emmanuel Lutheran Church to celebrate their 150th anniversary. So we have a proclamation for them. It's an honor to do this proclamation. It's signed by myself as mayor, the city clerk, our city treasurer, and also the council chair representing the entire council. And the proclamation reads, whereas Emmanuel Lutheran Church is celebrating its 150th anniversary in the year 2015, and whereas Emmanuel Lutheran Church began as a small wooden building measuring 46 by 26 feet with a small 6-foot steeple as the Mission School of Trinity Lutheran Church in 1863, and whereas the Constitution was drawn up and ratified in 1865, and the new congregation was formed, with Conrad Mall being the first called pastor of the church, and whereas when Emmanuel Lutheran Church celebrated their 75th Diamond Jubilee anniversary, there had been 5,186 baptisms, 2,455 confirmations, 1,343 marriages, and 1,956 burials reported. And whereas in 1965, Emmanuel Lutheran Church acquired the property on Ford Road in Dearborn Heights for their current site, and whereas for the past 150 years, the mission of Emmanuel Lutheran Church has been upheld by its committed and dedicated members and staff, and whereas Emmanuel Lutheran Church is to be commended and honored for their enduring devotion to the faith and well-being for our Dearborn Heights residents throughout the years. Therefore, it is resolved that all the signatures below hereby proclaim that honor and appreciation and be extended to the Emmanuel Lutheran Church for its 150th anniversary. Congratulations. I mean, we're a young, as a city, we got 50 years, so we're kind of young. But yeah. Reverend, you wanted to say a comment or two?
I just want to thank you on behalf of all the members of Emmanuel for this declaration and our proclamation. And also, I just would like to thank the board members for their work on the board. I know I've been on the school board for about 25 years on the local and ISD in a small community up north, and people don't understand the work that you folks that you folks go. I was talking to Lisa before, and it almost equates to the hour I spend on Sunday morning in front of the people. They think that's all I do. And so thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Once again, congratulations, and why don't you all come closer together here? We're going to get a picture. So.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Congratulations.
Bob?
Okay, the next order of business, and again, congratulations on your 150th anniversary, and thanks for being here, too. The next order of business is approval of the agenda, but we also need to remove 9L.
Mr. Chair,
Councilman Berry?
motion to approve the agenda for October 27th with the removal of 9L.
Support.
Second by Councilman Constant. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 4, approval of the minutes. 4A, the minutes of the regular meeting of October 13, 2015.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilwoman Hicks Clayton.
Thank you. I move to approve the minutes for October 13th, 2015, regular meeting of the Dearborn Heights City Council as presented.
Second.
Second by Councilman Kozinski. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 6, fund transfers and current claims.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Kozinski.
I move that the current claims numbering 6-1 through 632 be approved as submitted.
Support.
Second by Councilman Berry. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 8, report from the mayor. 8A from Mayor Pleco, improvements to Swaka Park Richard A. Young Recreation Center.
Mr. Chair,
Councilman Berry.
move City Council concur with the Mayor Dan Paletko and approve the agreement to make improvements to Swapka Park, the Young Center, and Parkland Park tennis courts as outlined in 8A and approve and authorize the mayor and the clerk to sign on behalf of the city.
Second.
Second by Councilman Kozinski.
A point of order, Mr. Chairman. This agreement, our city attorney, Gary Miyake's been working on it, so why don't you, there's some changes that he
Add,
still wants to make, so
for-
if you make the motion subject to Mr. Miyake.
Review by
before we
Councilman Miyake.
sign it.
So be it.
Thank you.
And the second is okay with that?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Then that'll be, well, after reviewed then. Okay. Any further?
So, how about if, there are some provisions in this, and I don't know if Mr. Greibel is here or not, but there are some provisions, and I reviewed this today, and then they need to be changed back to the way we've been doing these intergovernmental agreements for the last several years, and they went back to some old language in it. So you could make it subject to my approval in terms of final language, if you would, just because then you won't have to come back here. And I know what needs to end up being changed. It's the environmental stuff, which would cause us to have to do a full environmental audit of the property. And then if it's not, they don't think it's right, we would have to end up remediating the property, not just terminating the project, which I told them before is not acceptable.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they put it back.
Maybe we should just refer this to you and bring it back to us when it's complete the correct way.
That would be fine too.
That's fine, too. We have
I'd
no
like to
objection.
rescind my motion
Okay,
and refer this back to the attorney,
or to the
to
administration.
the administration for further review.
Okay, that'll work.
I'll support that, yes,
You'll-
sir.
Councilman Kozinski will support that too. Okay. Councilman Constant?
Mayor, do we know, so this is improvements to the Parkland Park tennis courts and the Richard Young building? Or it's was some of this money going to be used for the tennis courts at Richard Young?
I'll let Mr. Greibel,
I think you remembered, we have a existing project going, which is the maintenance facility, and we were short on funds, so I was able to get the county to allow us to use a future allotment towards that, and that's what that portion is for, to finish the, paying off the new maintenance building that we're attaching to the Richard Young Center. And then the tennis courts will be down at Parkland Park. The ones at, unfortunately, the ones at Swapka are in such bad repair that they have to be a total removal, and you're talking about $120,000 to $140,000 to replace those. So I'm working on a way of doing it, but until all the financing comes together, I won't be able to actually release or move on that project.
Yeah, because I had a few calls about the tennis courts at the Richard Young Center.
Yeah, we're well aware of their condition. In fact, we have already taken one court out of use because it's no longer usable.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Okay.
I have a question
Councilwoman
for
Horvath and
the
then-
director. Okay, the 14,000 for Swapka, are you saying that some or all of that is going to go toward the finalization of the storage unit?
That is correct.
Okay.
We were
So-
short with our original allotment. That was one of the issues we had. And council directed me to try to find a way to cover the entire cost. And I think it was you, Councilman
Okay.
Horvath, that had
Woman.
made the call and found out that we could,
Woman.
woman, I'm sorry,
Okay, all right,
hiding under that hat,
Yeah.
thanks.
okay?
Any further discussion?
My
Councilman
question was
Apigian.
similar. Do we have a cost overrun on the storage facility on Richard Young?
No, we had a cost projection over the amount of money that was initially allocated for the project through the Wayne County Park Millage Fund. And so we were going to be short, so the city would have had to come up with that out of their general fund, but we were able to, in our next funding period, get the county to allocate funds from that,
So you
allotment.
got less than you thought
No.
No, the project actually ended up being more than we thought.
about your
The
allocation.
reimbursement
Yes.
from Wayne County was less.
Yes.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of referring back to administration, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 9, reports from city official, 9A from Clerk Bachevis, budget adjustment and request for payment.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Apigian.
I move to approve of the budget adjustment and request for payment for the clerk's office requesting the following budget transfers from the account of election income to the account of election materials, first being $45.90, the second being $45.90 as well. This adjustment is to recover the expenditures for the acquisition of the handicap booths that were purchased with a grant. It has required the city to pay for the purchase, submit a bill to the state for reimbursement. The city has been reimbursed in the amount, was reimbursed on October 13, 1915, as outlined in 9A.
Support.
2015,
2015.
not 1915, 100 years back.
Yeah.
And second by Councilwoman Hicks Clayton. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 9B from Treasurer Riley, Investment Fund Reports for September 30th, 2015. This is a received note and file.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Kozinski.
move council concur with the recommendation of Treasurer Riley to receive, note, and file the investment fund report for September 30, 2015. This is a requirement as dictated by the Plant Moran accounting firm.
Second.
Second by Councilman Apigian. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Councilman Berry.
I'd like to ask the treasurer if in the beginning of the new year, if we could set up a special time where we could look at this and maybe you give us a detailed outline or a detailed description of exactly what's taking place here, please, just as a point of reference. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 9C from Treasurer Riley, Comerica Bank.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Apigian.
I move to approve of the recommendations outlined in item 9C by our treasurer, John Riley, to enter into a new banking agreement with Comerica Bank. He requests that the city council authorize him to sign the Comerica documents as they have been approved by the Corporation Council Miyake.
Support.
Second by Councilman Berry. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Councilman Miyake?
It should be after they've been approved by me. I have not reviewed them.
After, oh, okay. After, okay, is that okay, Councilman Apigian?
Absolutely. After.
Okay. After review of corporate counsel.
Is that going to be a quick job?
No.
I'm looking at getting all these things like in the next week, but it's not like it's not a short document. It's not going to
Yeah,
be.
but it's not like Comerica Bank just put up a building on Warren Avenue
Oh, I know.
either.
I know.
Just
then,
kidding, Gary.
And then authorize the appropriate signatures?
I concur, but along with this, Mr. Riley, if we can include this
Yes,
for the early part of next year, to review that.
I assumed his was enough.
It's not important right now. I only believe that just because, with the election coming up and with potentially maybe new people coming on board, it might be good that we give them a little insight as to what we have and what we're doing, just to get them up to speed, and for no other reason. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number D from Police Chief Gavin, purchase of WatchGuard Firebox M400.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilwoman Hicks Clayton.
I move council approve the purchase for the WatchGuard Firebox M400 to be purchased from Jensen IT, and the cost is $4,206.79. Payment of the invoice once it has been received and paid out of capital outlay as outlined in 9D.
Second.
Second by Councilman Kozinski. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 9E from Police Chief Gavin, purchase of computer equipment.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Apigian.
I move to approve of Police Chief Gavin's request for the approval to purchase the following computer equipment. Dell Computer is the vendor, is requesting purchase the equipment from specified on the attachments included in 9E. Total cost $28,657.75 for this equipment, and payment of the invoice once upon receipt of the information will be paid out of capital account.
Second.
Second by Councilman Kozinski. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Nine F from Fire Chief Brogan, purchase of turnout gear.
Mr. Chair,
Councilman Berry.
may I ask that we take 9F, G, H, and I together, as they're all purchases from the fire department?
Is that okay?
Is that okay with?
Different grant?
Yeah.
We can have it done
Same
separately.
grant?
I move City Council concur with Chief David Brogan and authorize the purchase as outlined in 9F, 9G, 9H, and 9I.
Support.
Second by Councilwoman Hicks Clayton. And that 9F is the purchase of turnout gear. G is purchase of protective gear. H is purchase of mobile training apparatus, and
I is radio equipment.
Radio equipment, correct. Any discussion on any of these items?
Mr. Chairman,
Mayor?
just want to point out that this shows the great benefit of having Lisa and the fire department looking for grants, because we were really trying to determine a way to secure all the radios that we need, and this is to get $900,000 almost in grants for the radios. I know that we had a meeting on something else, and Chief Gavin of the police department said, I wish there was a way I could get grant money for the radios on the police side, which we are not aware of a way to do that, but I think it publicly, the good job of the fire department.
Yeah, it's
Keep up a
good.
good rate.
Would Lisa like to become a police officer? You're trying to be good. Okay. No further discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
9J.
9J.
9J from Emergency Manager AMCRAP, fund transfer.
Mr. Chair,
Chairman.
Councilman Berry.
move City Council concur with a fund transfer for the CEDG. No, it isn't not, is it?
Yeah.
It's-
better to-
Well,
For WDHT-TV.
For our TV station.
yes.
Yep.
And CD.
In the amount of $650 as outlined in 9J.
Support.
Second by Councilman Constant. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 9K from MCAO Probulski, split of parcels supervisors, Dearborn Plat Number 4, Hines Park.
Mr. Chair,
Chairman.
Councilman Berry.
I move City Council concur with the Assessor Justin Obliski, I apologize for the name, and the
Assessor's
Wayne County Financial Officer, and approve the lot split as outlined in 9K.
Second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Kozinski. Is there any discussion? Councilman Apigian.
Yeah, the important thing here is this is the extra property that Steffens needed in order to have an appropriate parking lot that the present owners have negotiated with the county in order to purchase some county property. Therefore, hopefully, they'll make their site plan approval process easier, if not perfect. That's what this is about.
Yeah, it's a little larger than 4 acres, too, so it's a pretty good-sized parcel.
Yeah, they're I don't know what the total is now, I can't remember, when you add it to,
Oh, when you add it to
yeah.
theirs, I don't know what theirs
Yeah.
originally was.
The, Mr. Chairman, the added acreage
They're
is
adding
4.21.
4.21, yes.
The-
Okay. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Kozinski.
I'm not too sure if I read anything about the potential for ecological concerns. Is there going to be some kind of investigation with regard to contamination of the parcel?
I don't know if that has to be done.
That's,
Because of the salt.
Split, but with the development, it
The
does.
city is not directly involved in the transaction. It's the owners of the banquet
County.
center in Wayne County. The only thing that they needed to come to us for was a parcel number with the new parcel that they're selling.
okay, so the concern about any ecological impact of what they're going to do there is between the people who are enforcement and the ownership.
Yeah, because I did have the opportunity to, I'm drawing a blank, the Wayne County Economic Development Director.
Tim.
Tim Attila, and I mentioned to Tim that continuing ongoing concern, because the city has tried to obtain property from the county. I would just as soon take over the park rather than just have this continuing lease, and I was told they can't sell any county park property.
You're talking about Parkland Park now.
And so I brought this up to Tim, and Tim gave me a couple people to contact at the county, which I am going to do. But on an ongoing basis, as long as I've been here, I've been trying to secure Parkland Park under our ownership rather than having it under a lease arrangement.
Right, so,
But that wouldn't affect this transit, only to the extent that I think it now, as I mentioned to Tim, shows me that there is no prohibit nature of selling.
There's a couple
Parkland.
precedents that
Parkland,
said,
yeah.
yep.
This is the case.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay, Councilman Kozinski?
my concern stems from the fact that if we have authorized a redesignation of a parcel of property, and would there be any strength in involving us in any litigation should there be findings that the MDNR have some concerns about? So I'm understanding that the city is absolved of any kind of responsibility, and everything goes onto the responsibility of the owners and MDNR.
The county.
Yeah, that's
Well, I think
site
any
was-
sort of review would basically go through the building department to the degree that it would really be necessary, since it's my understanding that the property is going to be used for parking.
Parking.
And therefore, there may not be any sort of environmental review that would be necessary for that purpose.
Yeah. If it was used for something else, there might be some concern.
I would think that there may be.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Apigian?
that property is going to have to be rezoned to whatever the commercial is for the hall, for the present hall. So that whole parcel is going to have to be rezoned commercial, whatever the designation is.
That
So
would maybe be the
somehow
next
that's
step.
going to have to go before the zoning board, and it shouldn't be a problem. They're acquiring for their use. There's not a separate zoning for parking. It would have to be under whatever category they presently have,
Yeah, the commercial use.
or commercial use. Right now, it's a park. So we'll have to do that. But he's away from developing that. That's not going to take a lot. That could be done before, but it has to be done.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. This ends our regular portion of our meeting, and before I turn it over to the council members, I just want to wish everyone the very best of a happy Halloween, and everyone to please, if you go out that night, be very safe and be very cautious of the kids that are out trick-or-treating. At this point, anything to come from any council members?
Chairman?
Councilwoman Horvath.
Yeah, I would like to, it's Goodfellow time, and I've received 3 calls already. So I just want the public to know that everything goes through the school. We service children up to 13 years old. All the forms are at the school. No one else has forms. You get them at the school, you fill them out, you turn them back in at the school, and someone from Goodfellows will pick them up. So I don't mind the calls, but when you ask me the dates and the times and when can I pick it up and all that, I don't have that in front of me. Everything goes through the school. So if you've got a child up to 13 years old and you think you qualify for Goodfellows, tell that child to go to the office or the counselors or somebody in the school high up has the forms. And it goes much easier that way.
So these are all in like the grade
They're in
schools and
all
middle
the
school?
grade
All of
schools,
them?
high schools.
Okay, good.
Middle schools, they're everywhere. They're in about, I'd say 20 schools, at least 20 schools. Yeah,
Good,
not just the public schools, it's everywhere. So you go to the principal for sure, and they ought to know how to help you.
Good.
Mr. Chair?
Councilman Berry.
Yeah, I'd like to just take a moment and ask the members of this community to recognize the passing of a community icon, I would refer to him as. I know that the chair forgot to mention this, and I understand, but a gentleman by the name of Mr. Michael Berry passed away Sunday, October 25th. Uncle Mike was 95 years old. He was a prominent attorney in Wayne County. He was the former Wayne County Road Commissioner. They commissioned the Michael Berry International Airport after him, recognized by people across the nation for his hard work in this community. And the best accolade I could extend to Mike, and probably the most important, is what a caring and compassionate human being he was. And he never hesitated up until the day he died to be able to reach out and help people. So maybe one day in your prayers, take a minute and recognize him. Deeply appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman
I'd like to add to what Councilman Berry has indicated. Laura Berry Harris, his daughter, Michael's daughter, was a corporation counsel here in Dearborn Heights under another administration. And since we had a relationship of recognizing her presence and her expertise in giving legal advice, much like Constable Mahatke today acts. Certainly, I think it's appropriate to extend our condolences to the Michael Berry family and remember him as a man with great foresight, contributing much to our city and beyond.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from the
Chair?
Councilman
Just to
Constant?
echo what Councilman Berry and Councilman Kozinski have said, Mike Berry was the chairman of the Wayne County Road Commission. He was nominated to become a federal judge, very well known in the city and the state. He always had nothing but kind words for me. He was friends with my father, who's also an attorney, but he contributed greatly and will be sorely missed.
Thank you.
Anything else from any of the council members?
Can we announce his funeral arrangements for people that may want to know to attend?
At the Islamic Center.
No, his services were yesterday at Santu and Son from 1 to 8 this evening, which is the 27th, I believe, from 1 to 8 at the Islamic Center on Ford Road. Tomorrow at the Islamic Center from 1 to 8 p.m. and then the burial will take place Thursday, beginning at the Islamic Center and finishing at the Roseland Park Cemetery on 12 Mile in Berkeley.
Okay,
Thank you.
Anyone else at the table? Mayor, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'd like to also mention that I feel like I had a real opportunity to have gotten to know Sir Michael Berry as well as I did. And he did so many things for so many people and things for people out in Dearborn Heights that nobody is aware of. And he didn't want people to know about what he did. But he was an individual that every time I called on him as mayor or as a friend, he had such an open heart and he helped people. And I know a lot of people out there will always remember him. And it really is a tribute to him, everything that he has done. So that's one thing I'm glad that Tom opened the comments, and I think we all feel the same way towards him. In addition, I want to thank everybody. We've received some checks on behalf of the VFW to help them out. And then I had the opportunity, Rhino out in the audience goes to the same restaurants I go to, except he eats much healthier than I do. I'm always impressed. But you're doing a fundraiser for the VFW. It's going to be at Best Junior High. And what's the dates again, or the date?
Good.
Council, Mr. Mayor. I didn't dress for the occasion. But yeah, December 8th, it's going to be very similar to St. Sebastian. We'll do a show. It'll start at 7:30. We usually end around 9 o'clock so the kids can get home and get to bed and get up for school the next day. But it'll be Tuesday, December 8th. Hopefully we'll see you guys down there. We keep the ticket prices down low, so $5. And that way, if a family of 4 can go there for $20, and if you want to give more, you can. So it'll be very exciting, kid-friendly. Hopefully we'll see you guys down there. And then once we get the flyers out, we'll, give them to you so you guys can post it on the website and everything. So it's December 8th, Tuesday. Yeah, everybody's been very helpful. The VFW Hall, they're very appreciative of all your guys' help. And, the school board, the superintendent, he was very helpful. We found a gymnasium because we can't run at the hall because their power's off in the hall. So, and we didn't want to, like we were discussing earlier today, we didn't want to put a generator and put 300 people in a hall. And then next thing you know, something goes wrong. So, so for safety reasons, we found a gymnasium. Well, I think we can fit 500 people in there comfortably and safely. So, with the community, and it doesn't stop in Dearborn Heights. It goes to Dearborn, Taylor. I mean, we're all a community, and it's bigger than just a wrestling event. It's about family, community, and having fun. and hopefully I don't get beat up.
Yeah.
You got my back, right, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah,
There we go.
And publicly, thank you for everything you do. And our city clerk, you went to one of the events, and he came back and told me, like, well, you say what you saw.
Well, first of all, Terry, do you know if the tickets will be available?
Yeah, we're gonna have them print up. Hopefully, I'm actually heading overseas tomorrow. I'll be back Monday, but right when I get back, hopefully we'll have the flyers and everything designed, and then the tickets. What we'll probably do is I have a show on the 18th at the VFW Hall in Westland, and I don't want to get ahead of myself and start cross promoting everything. So right when that's done, we're going to hit the ground, and we're going to, really flyer the town and other towns and stuff like that. So you'll be able to get tickets at the VFW Hall. The lounge is still open, so if you call the VFW Hall, we'll try to get some other outlets where you can get tickets in advance, because we're really looking for this thing to sell out. At the church, we had I think 470 people in the gymnasium, so it was very successful. And if you want, you can give more. I'm gonna contact a couple promotions I've worked for, like WWE and Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, see if they can donate souvenirs, signed stuff, like from John Cena, Undertaker, all that stuff. We've had some stuff at like Undertaker signed for the church, and we raffled them all. So all that stuff is like $5 will get you an arm length of tickets. So everybody has the same opportunity, so it doesn't matter, if you got $5, you can get in, and if you got $5, you can get a lot of raffle tickets. So, yeah.
Okay, good.
Come on. If I could do that, I wouldn't be standing here. I'd be on a beach in the Caribbean.
If I could take the opportunity to say something. I went to your first one at St. Sebastian's, and it's, for $5, it's one of the greatest nights you'll ever have, believe me.
So you're saying next time I can charge you 10?
At least, huh? My wife and I said we were the only ones without kids there in line. We stood in line to get a good seat early. The wrestlers will take pictures with your kids, with you.
Yeah.
There's T-shirts and paraphernalia to buy at a very reasonable price. The food was very reasonable. It's just a great night of entertainment, and where can you go for $5? So.
And then what we'll have is we're probably going to open doors at 6:30. We're going to talk to a couple pizza places and see if they'll donate pizza, and then we can sell them for $2 a slice, create extra revenue for the hall. And if you want to donate, you can go down to the hall. I'm sure they'll accept donations. You guys have been working hard, and, it's a community thing, and we're all a community.
And the donations, because the VFW Hall is a 501c recognized by the IRS, the donations are deductible. The CPA and me will tell you, though, that if you buy pizza or something, you can't deduct that portion of it because you're getting something back. But it's a nice way to help an organization that has helped so many veterans in around the city, in the Dearborn Heights area, and a good cause. And I can't thank you enough for what you're doing.
Oh, well, I love what I do, so, it's a lot of work, but we know what it's like to work hard, all of us here. So, and plus, I mean, they're a great group of guys, and you learn so much from the older generation. And now that I just turned 40, I'm passing stuff on to the younger generation of wrestlers and, people that like to hear some of my stories. And hopefully I'll be donating some bruises to my opponent that night.
If you think you're old, if you think you're old at 40, what do you think we feel?
I didn't say I feel old,
Okay.
but I'm old enough to have a generation behind me now. So, but yeah, and it's all about giving back. And we're looking to, and this is actually my first time wrestling at OW Best, so I'm pretty excited too. We've done a couple shows for the Booster back in the 1900s for pro wrestling. It was I think it was. I forget the name of the promotion, but it was in 98, 99. We did a couple booster shows for the Booster there. So I was able to wrestle at the high school I went to, and now the junior high. And I don't think we can fit a ring in the Polk Elementary gymnasium. So I think we'll just stop there. So, but thank you for all your help and everything, and they appreciate it. And we'll get this done and get the power back on. So.
Yep.
Good.
And thank you for plugging it. And like I said, we'll get everything to you, and we'll get some tickets and pack the place. So,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Councilwoman Hicks Clayton.
Sorry. I just, I'm looking at your Halloween tie, and you mentioned Halloween, so I wanted to remind everybody that Dearborn Heights, through our Crime Prevention Office, Corporal Parinello, we have a Halloween Patrol Organization meeting on Thursday, October 29th at 6 p.m. at the Justice Center. So we'll be doing patrols on Friday, October 30th and Saturday, October 31st. So this is great to encourage all of our residents to come out, show your support, and you could do driving patrols, walking patrols, or simply sitting out on your porch is another form of patrol and participation. So we want to encourage everyone. We do have our neighborhood civic associations are supporting and coming on board, as well as other service organizations. So we want to invite everyone to join us. And again, that's Thursday, October 29th, 6 p.m. at the Justice Center. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Clerk Pachovitz?
1 week away from the election, folks. Please come out and vote. Absentee ballots, if you qualify, are available. I strongly suggest you come in. We have had a couple issues with the mail. We will be open tomorrow, Thursday, from 8 to 5. We are open on Saturday from 9 to 2. You can also vote on Monday up until 4 o'clock. The ballots cannot leave City Hall on Monday, however. If you have any questions, difficulties, problems, call 791-3432. Also, barring any technical difficulties, we will be posting the election results on that night as soon as we have fed them into the computer. You can find that on our website. Go to City Government, go to City Clerk, go to Elections. It's kind of a drop down, move along, and then right on the front page of the Elections will be a link to get your election results. Please urge everybody to vote. And once again, if you have any questions, 791-3432. Thank you very much.
Good, thank you.
Chair?
Councilman Constant.
Just before I came here, I spoke to two of our state representatives. One was checking into the hotel up there, but they're going late in the night, and he said they're very close to a deal on the roads, which will include some fees for the overweight trucks. So maybe by tomorrow we'll have a deal on the funding our repairs of our roads.
Okay. Nothing else from the table? Then at this time, if anyone has any announcements, things going on in the city, come up to the mic, John.
City council members, I put into each of your mailbox a copy of the official statement that was from the refunding bonds. As you're aware, we were able to successfully refund and refinance the bonds for the fire station on Beach Daily, and we were able to slightly improve on the results that were presented to this board at when the consultants came in. And so we basically had net cumulative savings of about $148,000, within today's dollar values just over $125,000. So that was in line with what the consultants presented here at this board. I want to thank the City Council, the Building Authority, the Mayor's Office, the Clerk's Office, the Comptroller's Office, and all the professionals who worked diligently on this to get this done and for us to recognize these savings. So thank you very much.
And thank you too, John, for a good job. Mike?
John, and we also have a AA rating now.
No, we have an A-, but the purchaser bought insurance, which increased the rating on the bonds.
Hello, Council Chair and Mayor. Just want to talk about a couple of upcoming events. This Wednesday, October 28th at Caroline County Library from 7 to 8:30 p.m., we will be having a program on time travel. Join Bill Konaleski as he leads a discussion and scrutinizes some of the stories and photos that are held up as examples of its existence. Also contemplate the advantages and pitfalls of the concept of time travel. Speaking of traveling back in time, join us Tuesday, November 10th at Caroline County Library from 7 to 8:30 p.m. as we review the history of Michigan, its geology, topography, and early beginnings all the way to modern times. Dr. Jim McConnell will be leading a discussion and presentation on several key events that shaped the way Michigan is today. Changing gears a bit, Thursday, November 12th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Caroline County Library, there will be a Medicare open enrollment session. MAP counselors will be able to answer your questions, enroll people, and screen for Medicare savings and extra help. So if you have had any questions or need help, come on out. Finally, I would like to thank everyone who came out to help the Friends book sale. Thanks again to Bill Deckert and the court. Did a fantastic job again. We raised over $2,500 this year, much of the proceeds going to the LED parking lights at CK. So that's all for now. Thank you for your time, and see you at the library.
Yep. Thanks, Mike. Anyone else, more announcements, things happening in the city?
Mr. Chairman, Mike, or Robert, the Vets Dinner, November 5th, the Kiwanis Vets Dinner, okay. I just want all of the veterans, Dearborn Heights veterans, we are having a Vets Dinner on us. If you're a Dearborn Heights vet, you need to show that card.
DD 214.
The card that you brag about all the time.
214.
The card that you get that says that
Okay,
you
it's
were
got a number to it,
veteran.
so all you vets know what I'm talking about.
The Wayne
Anyway,
County card.
November 5th at Stitt Post, the dinner is on Kiwanis. Your family and friends have to pay their way, but if you're a Dearborn Heights vet, we'd love to see you come along and let us know by calling Carol Slater, the Slaters, but I don't have their number, unfortunately.
Carol Slater, Mark Slater, or any of the
Yeah.
Kiwanis members.
Yeah. So we'd love to fill the hall. We filled it the last couple of years. We've had very good speakers. The food, of course, at Stitt is excellent. And I'm dragging this out while they're all pulling out Carol's number.
Gary Tanner is going to be the speaker.
Okay, I've got the number.
Okay, they'll have it. They'll have it. Okay, great. So I hope to see all of you there, because I know who a lot of you are, so I hope to see you there.
Mr.
November 5th at Stitt Post.
That number is 313-561-5778. 561-5778.
Okay.
It starts at 6:30 p.m.
Yeah.
To Thursday, November 5th at Stitt Post.
And Slater's wanted me to, when we did a TV show on it, you have to call ahead.
Yeah.
Because probably tickets will not be available at the door because it's in
Right,
demand.
right.
So please call ahead, and then they can reserve if you're a veteran, and also you can get your tickets.
Good.
Okay, good. Thank you. No more announcements? Then at this time, if anyone wants to speak, please come to the podium and give your name, street, and the city you live in. You will have 3 minutes to talk. When you have 15 seconds left, Councilman Barry will hold up this. When your 3 minutes are done, he will hold up the stop sign. So anyone, go ahead.
Ray Muscat, Havelock Street. Good evening, everybody. Quick question. The yard waste is going to end pretty soon. It's November 30th,
Last week
correct?
in November.
First week of December.
Last week in
For
November.
some crazy reason, leaves are staying on the trees a lot longer than I remember.
Right.
All right. Maybe it's a little bit early. We start maybe to look at lengthening the time that goes on, because if people do rake their leaves and try to clean up the street, they're stuck with 12, 15 bags at the end of the year and no place to put them. So just a little opinion of mine that maybe we need to increase that time a little bit so we can get rid of these leaves, and hopefully we can keep our streets cleaner and avoid the blockages of our sewer system.
Ray, a note on that. The newscaster today, with the rain and storm winds coming tonight, he said he's guaranteeing that leaves are going to come off the trees.
Well, if he's going to guarantee it, then he can come and pick mine up, okay? If they come back after this after this weekend. all
And
right?
I thought it was interesting that he
Yeah.
said that. He says, this is going to take care of your leaves.
Yeah,
So
well, I'm hoping,
whether it
but-
does or not, I don't know.
But
Poor neighbor.
today I was in the area of, on Van Born, near the auto repair shop, Knight Auto Repair. I believe that's right, Van Born near Gertrude, I believe, Buck's Barber Shop. Well, just east of Buck's Barber Shop, hooked onto the same parking lot, there's a vacant lot there that the that repair stop is placing all sorts of junk cars. No license plates on them. They're taking parts off of those cars to repair they're using it as a salvage yard. And people in that neighborhood are kind of fed up with it. And I was in that area today, and they were asking me to ask this council, what can they do about it?
Mr. Chair.
It's full of cars with
So
no
just-
license plates on it.
Just right next to Buck's Barber Shop.
Correct.
And that's actually the auto body shop that's
Owns that property.
on the other side of Buck's Barber
Correct.
Shop. It's had several different owners, and so it's 2 doors down from Cooper's Garage, correct?
I don't know. All I know is it's on a corner of Gertrude and
Usually there's not so many cars there, but it's right across from the Kmart on Van Born.
it's full of cars without license plates. Matter of fact, someone witnessed somebody sleeping in one of the cars and coming out of it, and the windows are rolled down, and they were plugging into the power source at Buck's to operate a saw to cut parts off a car. So it's actually not even. It just we can't have that in this city. I don't think.
Well, maybe Jack,
It's a junkyard, is what it is, and I don't know how it's zoned,
Yeah,
but
that lot is owned by the same fella that owns
Knights.
and leases the.
Correct, but I don't know if they're allowed to even do that. I mean, there's no license plates on these cars.
Jack, get the
Yeah.
address.
Okay, good.
All right, I do appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Ray.
If it's their property and it's their.
Anyone else? Delaney?
Jim Bartolini, Edgewood Street, on Van Born, between Jackson and Waddell. What are all those cars and trucks parked there? That's the one there where they paved half the lot and put a bunch of cars and trucks there. What is it?
I don't know.
There's about 40 or 50 cars there.
Do we have an address?
And you mean to say nobody knows what's going on there? Is it a used car lot? Is it?
Mr. Chair.
What is
Often
it?
people, especially on the weekends, any empty spot. on
That's
Van-
not, no,
Van
no,
Born,
no.
They park cars there, but doesn't mean
They
that they're
paved
legal.
or they blacktop half the lot on a Saturday. No inspection, no nothing. Now there's about 40 or 50 cars parked alongside of it, the building, and in the back of it.
Jackson
Is it
and
a
Van
used car
Born?
lot? Pardon?
What is the
Jackson and Van
location?
Born?
Jackson, between Jackson and Waddell.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Can you take a look at that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Good, good.
Okay. On Monroe Auto Repair, why does he have all those cars parked there? No license plates on them, no nothing. Right across the street from Chase Bank and Family Dollar. No license plates, no nothing.
Without giving the address, I can't tell you right now what.
But there's 21 cars parked there. He's not a repair shop.
But you could call me during the day. I've given you my number.
I gave it to you once before, nothing happened.
You said across from Family Dollar?
Right.
You're not talking about, that's Taylor if it's across Family
No,
Dollar.
no.
It's on
Right-
the north side of.
Right next to the Chase Bank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the old Union 76?
No,
It's Monroe.
the old Cooper's Garage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
right
that
there.
something we're looking into as well?
It's,
Yep.
the city's been out there
We
several
got, we got to
times.
get Van Born cleaned up. It's getting to be a mess. Just like Ray said, it's a
The
mess.
corner of Heather Lane and
Give us
Van
some
Born.
time here.
Right.
Yep. Okay, well, Jack will look into it. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Troy Brown, 23420 Hanover Street. Mr. Chairman, I asked last week about the what you approved tonight as motion 15343, which raises our water rates 17%, water and sewage combined. I asked
The
last
rates are
week.
not raised 17%.
No.
It's 8.53
plus 9.04 is about
No, you gotta take, they're
17.
two separate entities, and then
Okay,
it's the same. so-
okay, nevertheless, I asked if those were in compliance with any regulations that the state has for increasing our water. And so I was wondering if you followed up. We have a corporation counsel. I just seen we paid him $10,000 tonight for services, so I was wondering if he was able to look into that. I requested that last week.
And I say the same thing I said last week. To the best of my knowledge, everything was. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Do we have a corporation counsel
Is the
confirm
question-
that? It's
Mr.
legal.
Chairman,
Councilwoman Horvath?
Is the question, are we allowed to raise the water rates? Is that your question? I
No, the question is it in compliance with state law that regulates the amount that you can raise it? That's the question. And we have corporation counsel, Councilwoman Horvath, that we have corporation counsel to represent this body for legal action. I've been accused of trying to pretend to be a
Well,
lawyer.
go back
We
to your
have-
first question.
Okay.
We have
Wait a minute,
we
one at a time.
have the tools. Let's use them. I asked that, Mr. Chairman, last week, and you didn't follow up on that, and that's wrong. I asked the question. Is it in? You're telling me that it is? Are you a lawyer?
No, I am not
Okay.
a lawyer.
So that's my question. Can you
To the best
follow
of
up?
my knowledge, what I
Okay. Can you follow up with our corporation counsel to make sure that that's in compliance? Because Plant Moran does not make a legal judgment on that. All they do is tell you how to get where you want to go based on what you have forecasted where you want to be in 2018. So, okay.
Can answer that.
Okay,
Councilwoman
this
Horvath,
is really a simpleton question, but I've been around here long enough to know that if we did that, if we
We're out of
raised the
compliance.
rates and we're out of compliance, the state would be on us like you wouldn't believe.
That's not true, Councilwoman.
Oh, it
Horvath.
is
That's not true.
Look what happened to us when we were in a deficit. They came down on us like you wouldn't believe.
Look what happened at 10 years when we were overtaxed for 10 years in violation of state law. So
The answer to your question,
I'm talking to Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I asked you to look into that. Can you do that, please?
No, there's nothing that, at my point, that I need to
No,
look
can you
into.
ask the administration, corporation counsel to verify that it's in compliance with all state regulations? That's what I'm asking you to do. That's what I asked you last week to do. That was simple.
You know,
That's it.
I
Need a council motion to do it.
don't, I'm not going to burden our attorney's fund. You just said, we paid, and at this point, there's nothing that I feel, unless there's a council member. Does any council member feel that that's something we need to do?
no, I do not.
No, well, there's your answer.
I believe that we've been reviewing these rates for years. We've had plenty of backup from the city of Detroit, the water department, our budgets, and for years, we've been conducting business the same way, and not once has anybody give us any indication that we were out of compliance except for you.
I asked the
And
question.
I'm telling you.
I asked the question.
I'm
Are they in
telling you
compliance?
that
Are
to
you
the
a
best-
lawyer, Mr.
to the-
Barry?
Are you
a
attorney?
lawyer?
I'm not going to.
You're not a lawyer, and so neither am I.
To the best
One at a
of
time.
my knowledge, we are in compliance. If you do not think we are in compliance, I would recommend you get a hold of the Attorney General on your own expense and ask him to investigate that.
That's not good representation, Councilman.
I feel I'm representing this city at the best of my ability.
You
Thank
need to take the next step.
Time is up.
Okay. Anyone else?
Watch it.
Hussein Al-Hajj Ahmad, Hanover Street. Mr. Chairman, almost about a year ago, we've asked about lighting in Rosa Park. We haven't seen any lights out there up till now. What's really going on?
Lights in Rosa Park?
The park that's on Hanover and Greenleaf Park.
Heather Lane.
Heather Lane, I'm sorry.
Okay, I
Heather Lane
didn't,
Park was at
I
2:40.
believe that there was lights that were going to be put in
We
there.
approved that.
Yeah, we approved
Yes,
the
we
lights.
approved the lights.
So-
Whether they're in or not, I don't know.
They may not be in yet, but we approved them. It's
We're
going to take a process for them to get
They've
installed.
been approved. We paid DTE up front, which they were required. You authorized me to sign
Right.
the contract on behalf of the city. I think I and the city clerk signed those but at least one of us signed them. And we're completely dependent on DTE's scheduling to put them in. And they use outside contractors.
Yeah. So everything's a go, and we're just waiting for DTE at this point.
Okay, and is there any answer back about buying back the houses on the 13 houses on Hanover?
I don't know. Chrissy, do you have an answer?
The date in January still stands. The federal government has not gotten back to the state. The state has not gotten, well, the state has gotten back to me, letting me know that the federal government will not give us an answer before January. That was
So we're
what,
still on hold till January.
that's exactly what you were told in the summertime a couple times too. Yep, nothing's changed. If something does change, you'll be notified if you provided me an email, by email, if not, by a letter.
Okay.
Okay.
One more question, Mr. Chairman. As we all are aware of, tomorrow is going to be heavy rain throughout the whole entire state. Is there any step of precaution, anything that you guys are taking care of to provide this particular area of Dearborn Heights not to have August 11, 2014 again tomorrow?
Well, there's nothing we can do about the rain, but I believe.
I can
Okay,
tell
Mayor,
you
go
that both DPW Director, Mr. Zimmer, and I have had discussions. We've been getting updates. Mr. Ancrap has direct link into the National Weather Service. And so one of the things we did as a preventive measure is the DPW guys have gone out in areas that we've had problems and have tried, and to make sure, because leaves fell down and stuff, that there's good flow. We can't assure that every neighborhood, but we've gone out there to try to keep the leaves from being an impediment for the flow. The lines all, we think, are in good shape. The one key, unless it's changed, but the last consideration that we looked at is they think that the amount of rain would be near 1.5 inches in a 24-hour period. The system should be able to handle that. What our concern would be is if you start getting into, 2 inches, 2.5, 3 inches, then the system starts to get very taxed. But as of the last indication, I think, Bob, you indicated would be under 2 inches, maybe 1.5.
Approximately, as the mayor said, roughly 1.5 inches.
Inch and a half.
So I think you can expect probably some minor street flooding in the streets, perhaps up to the curbs, worst case scenario. I really don't think what we're looking at right now is something that's going to cause any widespread damaging floods. I will say you might want to be perhaps more concerned about the winds. Over the next couple of days, they're looking upwards of 45-mile-an-hour gusts.
Yeah.
So you're probably looking at perhaps some power outages, perhaps some down branches, things of that nature. But again, the rain is we're going to get a good shot. We're going to get about 1.5 inches, but it shouldn't be anything catastrophic by any means.
Well, Mr. Chairman, the normal rain days, that particular street, Hanover from Telegraph all the way down to Greenlee Park, will get blocked. It will get almost 1 foot to 1.5 feet of water in a normal rain day. So we're talking almost, suppose that tonight at 12 o'clock it's going to start raining all the way till Wednesday night. So we're talking almost about 24 hours of just straight rains. Clean up the streets, that's normal. Trying to get the leaves off the street, that's normal. We appreciate that. But we're looking about a different issue, that all the sewers on Hanover and Greenlee Park, they lead to the Ecorse Creeks, which is, we all know, there's 3 other cities that they dump in there. We all know it's a God's judgment having the rain coming to us, but there's some stuff that we can do. We can at least, it's never too late. We still got 3 hours to talk to Taylor, Romulus, different cities. Please, let's limit dumping in Ecorse Creek so we can let that night flow by so we can do some more arrangement. It's been almost a year since August till now, and we haven't made any changes to that issue, which is, to be honest with you, it's ridiculous. It's unbelievable. Almost about a year, we could have put some kind of limitation. Hey, Taylor, you're over dumping in that Ecorse Creek, limit that. Taylor, limit that. Romulus, limit that. All of these cities should have had a limit for them dumping in the Ecorse Creek.
But like you
And
say,
it's not too late. We got almost about
we're
3
ready.
hours. We can have some discussion with these engineers or whoever. Limit that dumping.
Each community, years and years ago, before any of us were on these boards, bought a certain amount of capacity into the pipe. That's what it's called, capacity in the pipe. And at one time, the first mayor over here and the DPW attempted to do a restriction at Banner Street. And there was a lawsuit filed by the city of Taylor. I think they were a city at that point. They might have been a township. There's a restriction. Only Wayne County has control over those areas because if you had one community or the other, yeah, you could go out there and adjust it. What the county does is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Brooks, but the county is the enforcer of whether or not there's too much flow. You have a situation going on right now, I believe it's Ecorse and Lincoln Park, and Ecorse is putting too much flow beyond their capacity, and the county has cited Ecorse that they must restrict it. So when you get cited by the county, then you're forced to either reduce the amount of flow in your system that's going into the interceptor or build a retention, but somehow you're not supposed to exceed the amount of flow. And so that's how it's regulated. But there is no way that, we don't have access to the Banner Street station. And Taylor has access points into the creek, and it's the way it is.
We don't have the access, but we do have the right and the permission to ask them to limit that, because August 11, the flood that happened in Dearborn Heights, all the engineer agreed on, it was overdumped from Taylor.
And there was an overcapacity of Dearborn Heights into the tunnel too. So if we would be sitting there going into court and we'd be talking out of both sides of our mouth because we probably almost doubled the amount of flow. Allen Park, the upper stream portion, Taylor, Dearborn Heights, and Allen Park exceeded their capacity. And quite frankly, a Southgate, a Wyandotte that are down below could file a suit against us and say, you can't do that, restrict it. So if you start getting into these water wars, I think we end up losing. But we do not have access, the county has access to those flow points, and no individual community does. But I know Wayne County does enforce it because they have, I've heard about and been told by the county that Ecorse, by their putting that amount of flow in, is causing a serious basement flooding in Lincoln Park, and Lincoln Park has asked the county to enforce that against Ecorse. So.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Ken, can I ask the ordinance officer one more question?
Do you want to wait till after the meeting, if he'll stay, Jack?
Well, he'll be here.
But he'll be here at the end of the meeting. Jack, okay, will you stay for a minute, Jack? Okay, good. Anyone else wish to speak?
A motion to adjourn?
Well, we always welcome the concerns and comments of our citizens. Their views and opinions are not necessarily the views and opinions of the council and administration.
Go ahead.
Move to adjourn.
Councilwoman Horvath, move to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Councilman Constant.
Horvath is back.
All in favor of the motion, aye?
And I got a weapon.
Opposed? Thank you.